Today I want to get into Jung Kook having a little bit of trouble at the airport. I want to get into the song 7 and the recent controversy, and then we have Spotify posting about Jung Kook and what happened there. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave. Decide hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab a dumpling, a Tasteling mug merch, and let's go. People were talking about Jungkook's duality. If you're not sure what duality means, let me explain. It's a phrase used to determine someone's ability to be two different types of people. Most commonly used for someone bumming around and having a bum day, and then they're able to transform into them going out to a nice dinner or red carpet event. And basically, the trend for a while became, how do you make the gap between the two look even bigger? So what is Jungkook's duality? For the fandom, people are always amazed at how he switches from this sexy beast that we see in music videos and his Calvin Klein ad, and then him in the behind the scenes videos. So him from reality shows or just backstage clips where we see him act as a regular person, or as you would assume the youngest in the group would act. This is also what prompted him to be nicknamed a bunny. Also, I think from how he eats. And before I forget, if you do want to react with me to a bunch of behind the scenes Jungkook and BTS moments, come join the community over on Patreon. We have such a great time laughing and having fun. I'll link that in the description. We do currently have a $1 tier with limited spots, so if you're interested in that, feel free to join. But anywho, Jungkook demonstrated another duality recently with Spotify. They posted a bit of an ad. I'm actually not sure what you would call it, but a little promo thing to say that Jungkook is coming. And since all of the promos of Jungkook recently has being sexy and all those things, it's quite odd to see him being the bunny and showing the softer side, which is exactly what this Spotify promo was. Jungkook was sitting in this tiny car. It's like a toy or kid's car, and he was riding into the frame. He was given a big smile and it was very cute. It seemed to be a trend to have Jungkook or artists introduce their comeback in this way, and I love it. Jungkook also did a promo for a Chinese platform. K-pop music is allowed in China, just the performing is not. So streaming services can still cater to the K-pop lovers in China, and Jungkook made sure to do this video introducing his solo work. I love this as this obviously benefits both the streaming service and the artist. The artist gets their ad played across TV or whatever the ad will be played, and this promotes their song and comeback. And then the streaming service gets the artist to bring in more listeners. So people who are unaware of that specific platform might then go over there and stream. And K-pop fans love to sit there and stream all day. So this way the platform can benefit from that. And then the specific artist can also rank high on those charts. So when it comes to charts, don't just think that Korean or American charts matter, but also international charts too. China simply has a bigger population than America does. And among that population, the majority of listeners there have a big buying power. In other words, they got money and they want to spend it. That's exactly why every business wants to do business there. And things go viral on Chinese platforms very easily. So streaming there is also very important for the success of an artist. Jungkook will be everywhere in the coming months. He is recently flying out to New York to perform at Good Morning America, and he was spotted at the airport. We need to talk about this because this is hilarious. First off, let me give some backstory. Jungkook did a live stream recently where he talked about doing hearts with your hands. So every artist has their own way of doing it. Of course, there's the traditional way you do it, and then the finger hearts became extremely popularized by V, of course. So I think Jungkook wanted to start to promo his own version of hearts. So during this live stream, Jungkook came up with a creative way of doing a heart with it tangled near the chest. So why not debut this new way of doing it by showing it off at airport paparazzis? Jungkook went ahead and did this right at the front of the airport, and he was in a bit of trouble. He couldn't form the heart correctly, and he ended up stumbling it, but he did do it. So I don't know why he got frustrated and ended up just giving up and did the traditional heart with his hands and then one on his head. But it was definitely a cute effort. You could see he was a little confused. Of course, he can practice that a bit more for next time, but something that may be simple for us to do is a lot harder, especially at that moment. You're put on the spot, and we tend to think of entertainers as little monkeys, like just dance for us, and they can just turn it on at any time. Many actors, fun fact, are actually not good at lying. It has to be set up and they have to know their lines, and then it makes it easy for them to lie or play a different character. But it's not intuitive for them to just lie. I hear that a lot with dating actors. It's like, they'll lie to you. It's like, no. If they're lying to you, it's because they're good liars and would be good liars if they weren't an actor. One does not equal the other. These are separate things. So just because Jung Kook is good at performing and usually good at being in the spotlight doesn't mean he'd get that all the time. Although I felt like he did succeed. We should all learn it for the next time Jung Kook appears at the airport and everyone can just do it to him. So the way I'll do it is hands straight, then flip them, and then just overlap and bring it to your chest. I think this could catch on and many people will do it. It's very cute and it's where the actual heart is, so I think people will find it cute. It's also adorable to see stars even get frustrated by not feeling like they can do something perfectly, because that's relatable. We all struggle, but we are all very excited about him coming to the US to promo 7. There was even a bit of controversy when the teaser was dropped today. There was a bit more of the song on it and it already sounded so catchy and fun. I really can't wait to hear the song. We learned some new details and it's very interesting. Jung Kook has a feature named Lotto. Lotto is a female rapper, if you don't know, and she's very good. She definitely brings a different style into a song, which might actually be why the song has a clean version and an explicit version. She works with Cardi B and all that, so the music sounds very much like that style, which is what I thought the backlash would be, since last time BTS did a remix with Megan Thee Stallion, and it wasn't even an official single, just a remix. Megan got a whole lot of backlash, but this time the backlash is different, and there is backlash. Lotto was receiving backlash for some of the things that she had said in her past. Armies love to dig things up about anyone who works with BTS. Basically, if you work with BTS, expect your whole entire family history to come up, because it will. And I think armies do this because they feel like they want to protect Jungkook or BTS members from bad people, because they would be using Jungkook for clout. So that is the biggest fear of ARMY. The issue is a lot of artists have clout. In fact, if the artist wasn't good and didn't already have some sort of popularity, Jungkook wouldn't have found them, or likely would not even ask them to be artists to be featured. So what is the backlash with Lotto? It's pretty serious, actually. Apparently, if you go back to some of Lotto's old tweets, you'll see tweets saying some pretty racist things towards Asians. A lot of this stuff is very played out, and I'm very glad we live in 2023 where a lot of these comments are seen as racist, or microaggressions towards Asians, which has ultimately led to Asian people dying, especially after COVID and during the Stop Asian Hate movement. So it's pretty obvious, and it's not really a surprise that Lotto got hate for that. What irks me is that I feel this is a very performative canceling situation, and I don't think any of these people actually care, because Lotto has had a lot of followers. If you guys honestly canceled her before this collab, it only matters because it involves Jungkook. Otherwise, it's okay to be racist, right? Because if someone is just racist to someone like me, your normal Asian guy, it's not a big deal. It has to be when it's towards this big celebrity. But anywho, people were saying HYBE needs to do better background checks on these people to make sure that they don't pick people who have been in bad situations before. However, HYBE probably did do their research, except she didn't get canceled for it or received any backlash for racist comments until now. So HYBE literally would not have seen it. Also, some of these tweets date back to 2015. That was definitely a different time. I mean, only I would say maybe a year ago was saying Chinese people eat dogs. Was that considered racist? If I were to say anything online about that comment being racist before a year ago, I was always told I was too sensitive and that it's a joke. So 2015 was definitely a time where these comments were supposed to be a joke. Lotto is also 24 now, so at the time she was probably 15, 16. So there is a little more leeway with those comments because of that, especially if she came from a background where she was in school that predominantly made these comments so freely, like my high school did. I can totally understand why she would think there's no issue of making these types of comments. However, we can also see she does not make these comments anymore. People were definitely asking Lotto to be removed from the song and asked people to not even buy the version with Lotto on it. Just get the Jung Kook version and stream that. So that is very interesting. I don't think this backlash will do anything to the song or Lotto, but curious to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.